we are live, guys.
All right, folks. Welcome once again to another episode of Custom Action Figure News, and this is episode 80, part 2. I think that's right. And
I wasn't sure whether to call it episode 81 or episode 80, part 2. Who knows?
Well, I'll tell you what. If we go over 2 hours or right at 2 hours, we'll just call it 81. So. We probably will too, so it's not like we have any incentive to get off early. So, but we have the same panel for you again as we did last week. We have Peak Obi-Wan, Chad Peak. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great, man. What's up?
Oh, not much. And we have Dayton Allen, better known as Sithfire 30. How are you doing?
Doing good, Chad. How you doing, man?
All right, and we're gonna get to see you tonight.
Yeah.
And then we have L.E. Luke Sprywalker. How are you doing?
Doing good, man.
All right, great. And then, of course, as always, my co-host, Tamer, better known as Sean. How are you doing, buddy?
Back in action, man. I just drove through an ice storm, so, you know what? Custom Action Figure News now braves all kinds of weather to podcast, Chad.
Yeah, well, you've got an ice storm, and down here I was just watching the news, and this is not bragging at all, but tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 80s down here. And
hey guys, is it too early for a
yeah, well, you know, it was upper 80s all the both weeks of winter break, and it didn't feel like a winter break at all. I think they should call it their second summer down here, right, Dayton?
Yeah, it was.
That's right. Dayton's down there in that too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's literally right across the state from me. I mean, probably like a straight line.
It's 69, partly cloudy today, and it's supposed to be sunshiny tomorrow, and then sunshiny the rest of the week, and about in the low 70s, 60s, 70s next week.
No, I watched the forecast at least for Orlando area because they don't get very specific. Everything relates to Orlando, but we're supposed to get a winter blast on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and that equates to mid-60s uppers and low 50s lowers.
Oh, man. Oh.
And I'm just like, come on, man. You can't call that winter.
No.
That's absurd. You know? I mean, of course I'll take it because I'm tired of it being in the 80s all the time because it's freaking hot.
Yeah, it sucks. That sucks. All Christmas it was like 85 or something like that. It sucked.
Yeah, it was like the Monday after, or maybe it was the Tuesday after Christmas. It was like 86 degrees. It was like summer outside.
If I wanted that, I'd have gone down to the islands or something. But you know, here it's supposed to at least be in the I could take mid 70s, you know, or something like that. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. So.
But listen to us bitching about these poor guys.
I'm trying to have some sympathy here for you because it's 80+ degrees, and I drove through ice this evening.
Well, okay. I don't care about whether or not you have sympathy, Sean. It's more about the listeners and if they're listening to where we are and what's going on, and I'm sure they're all entertained by our pathos here.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right, Sean. You got some announcements. Why don't you get right on to that?
All right. Let's start with. If I can get to it. Hey, where are you at? There you are. The favorite custom creations for 2015. And basically, we have a forum section set up, and your top 5 custom pictures from your creations for this past year. Just scrolling through these really quick. We'd love to see your top 5 images. I'm going to put together a video here before too long. Really had great fun putting together last year's. And next on the list real quick, I am just really kind of having a huge man crush here on the Zebra Imaging Star Wars 3D holograms. Just really cool stuff. They've got, I mean, really true 3D holograms. Here's the link. I'll put it up in the show notes if you want to try to enter to win one. You can even do that. But they also have a store where you can order one. Anyway, I'll put that up in the show notes. But just really cool stuff. and I just wanted to do a real quick, if I can get back to my regular screen here. Stop sharing. There we go. Back to me. First off, I want to, I don't know if we have any time, but I found this evening. I thought that was pretty cool. Walmart seems like it's becoming the hot place. I found this 6-inch First Order TIE pilot. Thought that was kind of cool. When we talked about Force Awakens, and that I also saw the Resistance Trooper with that wave. What else did I see? I saw First Order Stormtrooper, Kylo Ren, Rey, and what was there? Oh, Finn. So that was kind of the wave I saw, which I don't think is the newest one. Dayton and I were talking a little bit before I hit the broadcast button. Evidently, Jango Fett, and that wave is out with the Flamethrower Trooper. But I was glad to hear that maybe this new Kylo Ren and the array of that wave have improved apps. Dayton, is that true? Was that true that's what's up with them?
Well, what I've heard, and I thought I saw a posting on one of the boards. It may be on Facebook as well. They were comparing the old Kylo with the new one, and they are also comparing the paintwork on the old Rey, the initial release Rey, with the new one, and the improvements are night and day with some of it. So, if you've been holding off on getting the wave of the first wave, and you need to see the movie first, well, and you liked it, well, you're going to get I think you'll be much more happier with the new releases of those two figures compared to the old one. So.
Cool deal. Good info, guys. Good info.
I'm glad that they decided they're improving on their waves as they go. That's great for Hasbro. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a step in the right direction from what we've seen as far as their paint apps. Spry, did I see you have a 6-inch version of?
I was the exact person Dayton was just talking about, who didn't buy stuff before they saw the movie.
Yeah.
I just so yeah, I've got this better paint application. Rey right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Very good. Oh, and I have to give another great big old huge shout out to one of our affiliates, Entertainment Earth. Man, they sent me this bad boy. It was sitting on my front porch yesterday, and I've never tried Lego before. Of course, the AT-ATs, doesn't take a rocket science to figure I'd love to have one of those, but, just starting to get into another line, oh, gee whiz, I'm not even going there this show, but anyway, how cool is that thing? I mean, it looks like it has 1,000 pieces. Me and my daughter are just going to go crazy building this thing.
Well, you can tell how many pieces it has right on the front of the box, and I think it was 1,005. Was that what it was?
More than 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh man.
1,005 pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, look at that thing.
Yeah, that's $130 set right there.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest ones for the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Me and my son were looking at that one in Lego. That's pretty awesome.
You rock. Audrey Cisneros, Bethany, thank you, gals. Wonderful stuff. Anyway, okay, Chad, I'm done with my plugs. Let's see if we can finish this outline up. What do you think?
Okay, well, it depends on what you want to do here, Sean, because as I was saying before we went live, that you had this whole thread about Rey, and I didn't know if we wanted to explore any of the things that were in that thread, or we could just jump right into the next thread, which was about ships and vehicles. And the only reason why I would say let's go ahead and do that is because I think we talked a lot about Rey and on the last episode. So what do you think? You want to talk about ships and vehicles?
Yeah, man, we can always go back and talk about Rey, if we feel like we need to at the end. I mean, let's face it, some of these ships and vehicles are synonymous with the characters, so, we're going to be talking about them anyway.
Right. All right, so the very first thing is about the X-Wings, the new X-Wings. And I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what makes the new X-Wings different from the old X-Wings. I know that last show I asked a question about Poe Dameron and the X-wing that he was flying. Well, he wasn't actually flying it, but the X-wing that he had at the beginning of the movie, and if it was different from the last one, and you guys all said yes. So what about the new X-wings? What's great about them? And I guess Sean, I'll start with you on that one because the ships thing was your idea.
Yeah, oh, you know me. I love the ships. Of course, I'm going to try not to talk about that minuscule walker. That JJ, you made this big. Anyway, we're talking about the X-wings. Basically, I out of the T-65, I don't know. I keep going back to my EU, and I keep thinking about the stealth X-wings from Rogue Squadron. So I'm kind of thinking that's what those ships are, but I think I'm going to digress. I know between Dayton and Peak and Spry, I think that's where we're going to get the biggest intelligence on these new vehicles. It was pretty cool to. I want to say like the newer one, like the first one with Poe that blew up, sure did look a lot like one of the older style T-65s. I think that's the right nomenclature I'm using. I might not be. But then the new black one, I don't know. Maybe that was their newest version, and he got to fly it because he blew his old ship up, or I have no idea. Does anybody else know?
Well, these are T-70 X-wings.
Ooh, 70s.
They're just a different model. Yeah. What I like about them is that they modeled them after the Ralph McQuarrie design.
That's definitely cool.
I don't know how. The odd thing is, the turbine splits in half when the wings open. So that's kind of, how does that function if you want to get that deep? But, they look pretty cool, and I like that they use Ralph McQuarrie's design. They're supposed to be like a little bit heavier hitting on the firepower.
Yeah, one of the things I really liked about the X-wings was the fact that you could put your robot into it without a ladder.
From the bottom, that's right.
From the bottom, it was like a Naboo fighter or something. Advanced tech.
Yep.
They had some advanced tech going on. He definitely had like iOS 20 or something on his readout screen. Because it sure looked nice when he turned on that gun, turned the gun on to fire on the stormtroopers. But I think it was definitely a newer version of an X-wing. They said that the Resistance, but the Republic gave them money and gave them that tech to make those ships possible. And hopefully we see more than just X-wings, because I was hoping for a bunch of different ships, but like we were saying last week, I think we're going to see that with the Rebellion. So.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm seeing some just a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see this. When in doubt, go to Wikipedia.com. You guys seeing that armament on those things? Mag pulse launchers, proton torpedoes, concussion missiles, underslung blaster cannon. I mean, gee whiz, that I don't remember the old T-65 having that. Do you?
No.
Yeah, they just had blasters and missiles.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. If it's just me, does it feel like it's more compact? Like they're maybe a little smaller?
It seemed a hair smaller in scale.
Yeah.
But you didn't really have the old X-wing by it to know, but it seemed like the nose was shorter.
Yeah. You gotta think it's a span of what? Probably 20, 25 years, maybe, or 30 years. Well, 30 years, since Luke was in that X-wing. So yeah, they have to evolve somehow.
Yeah,
that's what it said on Wikipedia. 30 years after the Battle of Endor, Dayton.
Yeah, they have to evolve those ships. So yeah, it's pretty cool that they kept the same design, but yeah, with Macquarie's concepts, they went heavily into those concepts, which is really cool. and that they decided to do that.
I like that they're using the Macquarie artwork a lot, both on Rebels and for this stuff.
Yeah.
Just going back to all the different artwork that they have, pulling from old files or old imagery is a smart move.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chad?
On the X-wings?
Yeah.
I think they're cool. I mean, it's hard for me to tell much difference. I mean, I can tell they're bigger, and their engines, are huger, and that's about it.
Yeah.
They're cool. I mean, they're really cool.
Very good.
We should talk about the TIE fighters. I thought those were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were pretty cool.
Yeah, they had double seats.
Yeah,
Two seaters. They were special forces
canopies. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a gunner and a. It's almost more like the what is it? The ARC 170s in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
They've got a gunner and they've got or even the snow speeders. They got a gunner and a pilot. So that's cool.
Ejection seats too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They care about their troopers, I guess, their pilots, instead of just letting them kamikaze down into death or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, did they have two different models of the TIE fighter in this film? Like the single pilot, the single-seated TIE fighter, traditional, and this Special Forces TIE fighter that they're calling it, the Special Forces TIE fighter?
Exactly.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And advanced forces or something like that. Special Forces TIE fighter.
Yeah.
And then the regular TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On a side note to that, it's unfortunate, but I go to the Target and there's like 10 of those 6-inch scale TIE fighters sitting on the shelf. No one's buying them. That bothers me a lot because I got one, and it is a burden to have because it's big. You don't know where to put it, so it's in storage. Yeah. But I don't think Hasbro. I'm worried at Hasbro. I don't mean to get off a tangent, but really, I'm worried about Hasbro saying, "Well, we tried the 6-inch scale vehicles, didn't go anywhere, so no more." Yeah. It's going to be a bummer. I was looking for that land speeder.
Exactly. That's. I think more people would have bought that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Smaller vehicles, a little bit cheaper, but don't get me started on the 6-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I collect them, but not the vehicles. It's just a little too much.
It's too much. Believe me, it's too much.
I'm one of those guys. I'm not picking it up. Because I just don't. I don't want it.
I got it because I said, and I got a discount on it, and I brought it home, and I said, boy, that's an awesome looking box. I opened it up, and I got it out and put it together, and I said, boy, it's a paperweight. What in the world am I going to do with this big ass thing? I didn't know what to do with it. It just sat there, and if the actual capsule is so heavy, it starts to bend the wings after it sits. So I said, I'm just taking it apart and put it away, and one of these days probably sell it. Who
Would you
knows?
say that's the size of a globe.
Yes.
A small globe.
Golly, it's like a disco ball almost. You could have had some fun with it, but I mean, to me, it's just the pilot's awesome. Pilot was cool. Why don't they sell the pilot separately then? That's cool. But yeah, it was just too big, too much, and I think they're going to realize that when they see the sales coming in, they're going to say, yeah, worth a try. But, And Hot Toys is coming out with their 1/6 scale.
Oh.
1/6 scale TIE fighter. I don't think that will ever happen, but I'm very doubtful for that. But I don't know where in the world I'd put something like that.
Yeah.
It looked awesome though, didn't it?
It did. It looked really pretty. It was a pretty thing. Yeah.
Spry, any comments about the TIE fighter?
I liked them. They were, they were upgunned. They had extra guns on them. Had guns on the bottom. Even the non-special forces, the regular TIE fighter, had some extra guns. But I just got this cross sections book.
Oh,
I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I got the visual dictionary too. I just got those in the mail yesterday.
Nice.
Cool.
I picked up the visual dictionary as well.
Yeah.
It's nice stuff.
But, yeah, these vehicles, you know, like Dayton was saying, it's been 30 years, so they've got new technology. They've got better weaponry. The First Order cares a little bit about their pilots, like we were saying. You know, they've got eject-go seats, and I thought it was cool. But when I first saw them, I was like, oh, you know what? Why'd they just have to flip the colors, basically? You know, but I don't know. I started to really like. The more I saw them, the more I liked them. And then that one, you know, totally Nazi scene in the movie where there's the TIE fighters have come up out of loading decks and things, and then there's some just sitting over to the side with all the troops during that big speech. Everything just looks so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real sharp.
I like these new TIE fighters now.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, the next ship is the Star Destroyer, but I don't know if Sean wanted to go straight to the Walker.
Really? Well, let's talk about Star Destroyer. I've done pretty good. I haven't like given a thumbs down to anything so far, so I think we keep that trend going because I kind of like the new Star Destroyer. I thought it was pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. That opening scene was perfect. I just love that scene of the eclipsing Star Destroyer. It captured the same feel again of A New Hope, using a Star Destroyer as the show that the Empire is still alive. You know, it's still around, and the flyaway of all the transport ships coming down from it. Great. You know, they didn't show it much. You know, they only showed one. I don't believe there were multiple. I think there was just one command ship during that time. But again, this is like one ship going out to SWAT a couple of rebellion groups. You know, they don't have their entire force there. And I'm very interested in the next film if they're going to have some sort of super Star Destroyer like they did for Empire.
You're right.
Did that ship get blown up, or was it still good?
I think it was fine. Yeah,
I don't think the ship got blown up.
Yeah, that's where Vader's helmet is too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Looks like it's got the bottom bumps on it. Are those like more deflector dishes, or what's the bottom bumps on it?
That's a little takeoff from the well, I think it's just one, just like the old ones. I think.
Right there. Huh?
Yeah. The old one had it, but the front looks like a little takeoff from EU. You know, a little split in the front, maybe. I don't know if that's. Yeah, it could be a split in the front, but I'm glad they used a little bit of an EU type concept with that. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely looked cool. It was a really, really great ship. Really big. Looked like it was really powerful. Had tons of guns. It was really nuts.
Yeah.
Those ventral cannons were really cool.
Oh yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah, those look like heat and seek lasers, didn't they?
For sure. Took a cue from Jango Fett, I guess, from the asteroid field in Attack of the Clones. But I won't go prequel. I know you guys will get mad at me. No, prequel. Yeah. What about those other ships? Those the ships that came out of the Star Destroyer. What about those?
Yeah.
What was that called? Just a lander of some kind? It looked like a battleship.
It looks like a troop lander. It literally just carried the troops down. It looks like it looked like a ships, amphibious ships from World War II.
That's what I thought,
That's
like
what
a buffalo or something.
Yeah, the front of it definitely when the front lid came down. It definitely looked like that, like Normandy or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
drops down in the water and they come running out or something. Yeah, that looked pretty cool.
I hope they make something like that. That'd be pretty cool. I hope Hasbro makes something like that, and 3 3/4 inch scale. That'd be cool. That'd be neat.
Not a chance.
At
not
that
a chance.
scale. I know. I don't know what they're doing.
Decent plastic, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have it in titanium scale. I think that's the biggest I've seen it so far.
They need to do 3 3/4. They need to do 3 3/4. I mean, golly, they did the Imperial transport in 1977. why don't they do a Imperial, one of the little soldier transports for this film? You know,
I
come
agree.
on, guys, come on, Hasbro.
I agree.
It's a simple build, really. It is. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to glam it up too much.
It's true.
Here we go, Hasbro. Here we
Yeah.
go. Here we go.
Toy Fair's coming up.
Let's just do a toy talk. Let's talk about toys all night.
Oh Lord.
Uh-oh.
We
Hey,
can have a whole
Chad,
talk.
we're going to have round 3. Talk about
Yep.
Hasbro's response to The Force Awakens. Okay.
Yeah, we can. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, Spry, your take on those massive Imperial ships, Star Destroyer, drop ships, Kylo Ren shuttle.
Okay.
He's reading. He's got his dictionary out.
Yeah. Let's start off with the name of the vehicle is the Finalizer.
Oh.
Finalizer.
The
Wow.
Finalizer. Yeah. First of the new Resurgent class Star Destroyers.
Nice.
I liked it a lot. I mean, everybody's pretty much covered all the points. The weaponry was really cool. The design of the vehicle was really cool. I liked it. Landing craft, yeah, I thought they were cool. I'm right there with I'm right there with everybody. Hasbro needs to make that in 3 3/4 scale. It's a super easy vehicle to make.
Yeah.
And so jump right into Kylo Ren shuttle.
Sure.
I liked it. It was similar to Shuttle Tidarium, with moving wings, except they kind of chopped out the middle wing, got rid of that. I thought it was a super cool vehicle.
It was menacing, wasn't it? It just came down.
Yeah, that's it. It was
Yeah.
when that vehicle came in and landed. It was just super.
Trouble. Here comes trouble, right?
Yeah.
The red, behind the glass, you could see like some red lightings and stuff that added to the menacing look, and it felt like somebody badass is coming in on this thing.
Yeah, they really sift that out. I mean, it had a lot of features that a Sith would be if they were in one, So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was great. You get to build it for us, Tamer, and show us what it's all about, huh?
Yeah.
Ellie, does it have a name?
Yeah. Well, it just says the First Order Command Shuttle.
Oh, all right.
What's it say on this box? It says Kylo Ren's command shuttle.
Okay.
That's all it says. I was trying to get us a picture of it up real quick. Let's see if we can take a look. Share. There it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of it reminds me a little bit of maybe Darth Maul's ship in a way, a little bit. Even though, I mean, Darth Maul's ship, the Sith Infiltrator, kind of had that whole tie theme going. But man, those fold-up wings got those great dual cannons there, dude.
I'm just when I look at it, I think of EU's IG-88 ship really quick.
Oh yeah,
I've seen
that
that.
totally looks like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a little bit of the Magna Guard ship too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
I can see that.
Those guns there, Grievous's ship a little bit too. What's Grievous's ship called? It was.
Oh man.
It wasn't the Invisible Hand, was it? No, that was his. That was his big old.
That was his Star Destroyer.
That was his Star Destroyer, but yeah, it looks a little bit like that in the wings, in the guns and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really menacing. It's really cool looking.
It looks like a bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for those wings to fold forward or something, But when I first saw it, I was like a faster flight scene or whatever. But those designed to protect the vehicle. That's why.
And for the size of the box that you made the 6-inch TIE fighter in, you could have made a 3 3/4 inch of this and put it in that box.
Yeah.
And people would buy it.
And they would buy it. That's the key. They would buy it.
Right.
If it was 3 3/4 inch, they would buy it.
You made the flippin' Imperial shuttle from Return of the Jedi. You can make this, and that one had electronics, had lights and stuff. You don't have to put that in this. You can just go cheap. We'll buy it. I mean, just make it and make it look awesome, and we'll buy it. But nope.
Hey, yeah, ain't fair. I'm usually the one that starts getting on Hasbro case.
I'm sorry,
and
man.
Go up for me. I'm telling you,
They're
man.
concentrating way too much. I'm not going to get into it. But they're
Way too much
talking
pent
too
up.
much.
Way too much pent up. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
too much
Can't
feel
talk
it.
about it. Can't
Feeling
talk
it
about
here.
it's great they're doing 6-inch scale, but doggone it, man, they just basically just threw 3 3/4 out and say, oh,
Yeah.
you want the articulated here, pay, give a kidney and buy a articulated stormtrooper. I'm sitting there going, golly, saw them at Walmart. Actually, one of the stormtroopers, I couldn't buy it. It was just, I said, either I eat or I buy a figure. What am I going to do? I'm not that bad off. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, golly, that much for a freaking articulated figure? That's crazy, man.
And they just raised the prices too. They raised the prices. Yep.
That the one, that 1283.
Yeah, there it is.
Ours are
Yeah.
ours are 1383.
Yep. 13.
Yeah.
Yep.
13.
So
Oh,
no, you know what the strategy is? Make them so expensive people don't want them, kill the market, and stick with the 5 points.
Oh, buddy.
And have y'all 6-inch dropped to like 1854?
I don't know. I haven't shopped for them. I haven't gone to the stores.
Well,
and looked,
that
so.
Ray I just got, it was 1854, and
Oh, really?
the 3 3/4 hanging right beside it for 1383.
Oh my God.
Mm.
Oh my God.
So that's on the wall right there, That's $5 more.
We're all coming to. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, our 6-inch went up actually. They went up in price. They went to 1983
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
what
At
mine
Walmart.
were too.
at Walmart. Yeah.
That's what ours have always been, but they took a price drop for all this for when the new stuff for the movie came out.
Wow.
Chad's over there sitting, boy, I'm glad I'm out of this crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what these guys are talking about.
Bring back G.I. Joe, man. That's what I want.
Oh,
Bring him back.
Chad's mic's out. We can't hear you.
Well, that's what Chad thinks about Hasbro. He's speechless.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know how you feel, Chad. Yeah. Huh. Well,
Yeah, we could talk all night about 3 3/4 inch and the 6-inch,
Yeah.
and then
I
throwing the baby
apologize.
out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Collecting is over essentially, but I still pick up stuff here and there.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I'm able to customize. Because
I'm collecting the Asian market stuff now these days. I don't really get into Hasbro as much anymore. So
I'm right there with you now, Dayton.
yeah, it's more expensive, but the quality is there. And if they would come back and Hasbro, you come back and start releasing the vintage line again, or vintage series, and doing what you were doing that were so well. Your distribution sucked, but you were doing okay. I'll come back to it, but
Right.
so then,
tested and approved stuff that works that
Yeah.
they know everybody would buy,
yeah,
but they just don't. They don't treat us like we're anything anymore. The collectors like we're a viable audience.
yeah.
Some people were talking about discrimination the other day about Ray, the Ray figure and whatnot. And what about the discrimination against the collector, the collecting audience? No, nothing for us. We're out of it. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't matter, but we supported them for 20 plus years. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we tried to get Chad back.
Get this thing back on track.
Yeah, get this thing back on track. I'd like for us to talk about. See if I can bring it up. See if you guys can see that. You guys see that?
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's a walking fortress. A walking
That-
fortress. Look
yeah,
at that
you
thing.
guys. Yeah, you guys saw it about. I don't know what type of scale you saw it walking when Han was kind of getting on Finn's case for being in sanitation, but we saw that thing walking
That's awesome.
across the plane, and that's actually what we saw. And that actually is thanks to Chad got that up this evening. That was a cut, I think, from the huge scene where General Hux is talking to all the troops. So that was one of the new Imperial walkers that just dangling there on the edges.
Yeah, you're not going to trip that with a snow speeder. That
Yeah,
thing's legs are thick, man. And I'm wondering if that head doesn't deploy out. You know, the front heavy guns. And I wonder if there's like a retractable neck or something into that thing. That would be pretty cool to see
it
that.
looks kind of like a beetle, you know. Instead of an elephant, you know, it's a little more aerodynamic, I guess, along the sides and the back of it. It's less boxy.
Yeah, it looks like the upper legs almost have an extra articulation point too, doesn't it? Like
spread out.
Sure does.
Like spread, yeah.
Yeah. Stabilization stuff. I don't know what's in that book, Spry.
Yeah, not a damn thing on that wall.
Yeah, nothing.
All right, I'm not buying it now. Okay.
Walkers, sorry, they don't exist.
I was so upset when I cracked that book open. I said, "Where's the Walker? Where's the Walker?" Not even in here, man.
Wow.
No.
Unbelievable. They all got blown up on that planet, right?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, there better be. I hope we get to see. We're going to have a ground battle in the second movie, just like Empire Strikes Back, like a really great, big, huge, epic one, right? If they kind of stick to the same, schematics that they usually do.
Yeah, Kylo wants to kick somebody's ass, so he's going to be coming for him. So yeah, they have to have a ground battle here coming up soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I was really hoping that you guys would tell me that these new cross visuals or whatever you guys would have, because I haven't picked up any of those yet. I was actually just thinking about getting them, but man, they don't have the First Order Walker in them. I don't like that.
They're good-looking books, and they're really well done. You wouldn't be disappointed to have them. I mean, I got the art of Episode 7 as well. And it's a really good-looking book.
That book's amazing.
It is.
Unbelievable.
Really
all
good
kinds of crazy stuff in there, right?
Yeah. So you won't go wrong getting them.
Very cool. So we're getting Chad back. He's going to restart his machine, but let's we kind of transition to that, guys. Let's talk about Spry. Do you have your books handy that you can just show the covers of them? I mean, we won't violate too many, but just to show folks what we're kind of talking about here. All right, which one is that one, Spry?
This is the Force Awakens Incredible Cross Sections.
Very cool. So that's one that these guys are highly recommended.
Yeah.
And then this one is the Visual Dictionary.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Gives you a little bit of everything, whereas the other's more focused on the vehicles. Looks like it told a little about planets in the vehicle cross section too. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And Chad, Dayton, you guys wouldn't have your copy of the art book handy, would you?
Let me see here. Hold on a second. Yeah, got it right here.
Oh, cool.
Off the bottom shelf here. Let's see if I can hold it up. Let's see here.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, man, that does look tough.
That's a good book.
Good looking book, and it has the crashed tie on the back.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It's a hardcover book. It's really, really nice. All concept drawings. Some of my future customs that I'm going to be doing in Star Wars is going to be coming from their concepts. Because their concepts are just so gorgeous. I mean, especially Han's concepts and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren. I've seen that posted a lot.
Oh, man, there's so many cool characters in there. The Kylo Ren concepts. Changing the Vader. There's a lot of concepts in that book that Dayton just held up that, you know, take us to another place. Maybe they're showing us stuff that's going to happen in the next films too.
Yeah.
You see a lot of cool stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. It may feed off of one another. So, you know, this concepts might be something that goes, like you said, goes right into the next film. So, you know.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to definitely pick those books up. So there's 3. Okay, that's cool. And then, you know, they're going to sell. We'll have a new movie, and we'll see the Walkers, you know, in all their epic glory. So they'll do a new cross sections book, and I'll get to see them.
Oh yeah, we're going to be getting books and art books and stuff like that for years, which is great. I'm looking forward to a Rogue One
Yeah.
art book.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys following all the other books, like the comics and the novels and whatnot? Are you following any of that stuff?
Unfortunately, I haven't. I'd like to. I need to because I've missed out on a lot, I'm sure. But I haven't had a chance to.
Well, I've been listening to a lot of them on Audible, believe it or not,
Okay.
including the Force Awakens, and it's really good. And some of these books, I wonder if some of the characters are playing a part or a bigger role in these movies. Because why would they say that everything is canon if it's not going to play a bigger role?
Hmm.
I'm hoping we see some of these characters. Like one of the characters, Greg Grunberg, Snap Wexley, that guy. The pilot, he's kind of got the beard.
Oh, okay.
You guys know that?
Yeah.
You know that
Yeah.
guy, Snap Wexley.
Yeah, I know
He's
you're talking
actually in Aftermath as a kid, as a younger kid, and his mother was a pilot for the rebellion, and the whole story is partially about that kid, and here he is later on down the road in the Resistance, and it's actually pretty cool.
Awesome.
Comic books wise, I follow all those. I've been picking up everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Those tie-ins kind of remind me of some of the comments that after I went to go see Revenge of the Sith, and they were showing, I believe it was Revenge of the Sith, when they were showing Grievous. Why was Grievous always coughing and choking and walking around hacking? And a lot of people didn't know, because if you didn't watch the animated shorts, you didn't realize that was a tie-in. So I guess that was great. When I watched the movie, I said, "Oh, okay, I understand why he's having such a hard time," But I think they're doing that the same way with these films. You have to. The multimedia is important if you want to be a fan of the deeper EU or expanded universe of these guys. You gotta have to read the comics and read the books in order to get the backstory. So it's cool.
Very good. How about you, Spry? You got into any of that stuff? I haven't.
No, I've not. But it's cool that Chad said he's listened to it on Audible, because I was just checking that out and trying to decide what I was going to listen to for my first free one. And when I do have time, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Dark Disciple.
Dark Disciple.
Dark Disciple, man, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased because I'm a Clone Wars fan, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's great. Very touching. Very awesome.
Awesome.
Somebody's ringing.
Yep. Somebody's phone's off the hook.
That's me. I'm calling in. Can you hear me now?
Hey, all right, Chad. I got you back.
I had to phone a friend.
All right.
Okay, well, I don't know where the heck we are now.
Well, you know me. I took us down a kind of a. They were talking about the book, so we took just a couple minutes to, and I violated some copyright laws and had them show some covers, on screen. So
sounds like good work to me.
Oh, just violate some laws.
Did you talk about the Walker, Sean?
Yeah, we did. But I'd love to hear your take on it. Let me go back to the screen share real quick. And then you can give us your 2 cents, because I was really, I told myself that was the only thing that I was going to be a little bit upset about, is only getting to see this thing and just a very brief glimpse with the General Hux scene. And then, I guess that this is what we saw. I mean, it was so small. Was this the same version we saw walking across the frozen landscape? I guess we can only assume it was.
I think by the angle of the legs, it looks like this walks a little bit different than an AT-AT does. And when just that little glimpse that I got, it seems like I think it is the same thing. And it's very close to an AT-AT, although it reminds me of like a boar or something, like a pig. A pig, like a boar.
That's like Pick Obi-Wan, I think, was said. It looked like a little bit like a beetle or something like that.
Yeah, it does look insectoid, but it doesn't have enough legs for that, so...
Yeah.
It's like they combined the two,
My buddy Mike Sith happens. He just asked me what's on my forehead. I'm bald, buddy. There's nothing on my forehead. I ain't got time to type, so if you ask me something, I'll either respond or I won't.
Okay, all right. Well, I think Chad, we had just finished up the ship stuff, bud. So if you want to get us back on track with the
okay, let me see where we are. Oh, okay. So this is about different characters.
Yeah, like okay, we're getting into episode 8 here. What do we want to see? Where we want
the first one you put on there, Sean, is Lando, and you know we're gonna see him. I mean, but it's episode 7, and we're not gonna see him until episode 8. I firmly believe that we will see Lando in the next Star Wars movie. How we will see him, I don't know, but he's gonna be there. So. That's my take on it. You guys, whoever. I know y'all got theories. Come on now.
I don't think. I think Billy D is a little bit slower at his age he is right now. So the role that he's going to have isn't going to be a major role. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they'll bring Lando in, and I think they're going to, when they visit the Republic, you're going to have senators and all these come up, and I think that Lando will probably find himself in some sort of provisional government of some sort of position as a politician. It would be funny that he was a scoundrel, a traitor, and now he's a politician, and he's like a shady politician, you know.
I think you're right. I think that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, so he probably comes and gives his condolences to Leia, because of the loss of Han and stuff like that. Maybe, I'm sure. That's just what I'm predicting that would happen, and that would be it.
He play a politician in some movie. I'm thinking of a movie that he played a politician. It wasn't Batman, was it?
It was. He's a lawyer.
There it is.
He was Harvey Dent. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he played Harvey Dent. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we just got to make a Star Wars version of Harvey Dent. And then there it is. He's in there.
Will he be wearing a cape? That's the question. Will he?
Oh yeah, he better be, and he better be a long, flowing blue cape. That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yep.
Down.
Yep. With the collar up. Yep.
Yeah, with little gold stuff going through it. He's gonna look cool like that. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Spry, you want to see Lando?
Yeah, I'd like to see him in a little cameo like that. I don't want him to, I don't want him to be anybody's daddy or anything. I don't.
Yeah. No.
It's funny because, like most Star Wars fans, like hardcore Star Wars fans, or even moderate Star Wars fans, they do not want Lando to be Finn's dad. But people who have a general knowledge of Star Wars and maybe have only seen a few movies, that's the immediate association that they make. I find that rather hilarious.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I don't think he would dump his son, into the First Order.
From birth, no.
Yeah, right. Into a regime of terrible people. Aren't these people supposed to be terrible, just like the Empire was?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my view on it. I just don't think he would be related to him at all. I don't believe it.
I think we had somebody like Dr. Halsey from the Star Wars world that kidnapped these prospectively great children at very young ages and replaced them with clones, genetic clones, inferior clones that died. And then, we've got Finn and all these other folks locked away, and then, they train to be First Order troopers. So I think Lando finds out that Finn is indeed his son after his other son died, who was a clone. How you like that? Little Halo crossover for you.
Yeah, with a nice spin.
They did talk about clones in the movie. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah. I
Kylo Ren.
They were debating maybe clones would have been better than these brainwashed kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it was Kylo Ren that mentioned it, wasn't it?
Right.
And,
was it?
Yes, it was.
And, you know, I think that's just more of his aspiration to be like Darth Vader, because Darth Vader led clones, so
Yeah.
that's
Maybe.
what I took away from that.
Yeah, I have a feeling Kylo Ren's going to look a lot like Darth Vader in the next film.
Me
Yeah.
too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe we'll find out that Ray had a little bit more of an effect, and he'll have a little bit more mechanical apparatus on. Maybe we'll see a transformation to more robot mode, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, he's pretty beat up. You know,
Yeah.
he's got that cut across his face, and he's pretty messed up. So
I would like to see him look a little bit like Darth Cadus, you know? Wouldn't that be cool? Or Malgus, maybe a little bit like Malgus, Darth Malgus?
I think he'll be a little bit of a combination of all of them.
I agree.
Well, we'll see.
All right. So, aliens, Sean. What do you want to know about aliens?
I want Spry. That's Spry's question. Hey, Spry, what do you think about the aliens we saw in the new movie, bud?
The new aliens were okay. I liked some of them. I wasn't excited about a lot of their skin texture.
Yeah.
And like everybody here is going to say, the big disappointment for me was the lack of aliens we've seen throughout every Star Wars story to date. You know, they should have selected a few from every movie, a few from the Clone Wars, you know, everything, and incorporated those existing aliens we're familiar with their new ones. I didn't like, you know, every single one pretty much was a new alien other than about 4 creatures, you know. They were all new. And I know it's a new planet, but there would still be those same, you know, there'd be, why couldn't they have put a hammerhead walking by in the back? You know, something as simple as that would have been.
Or a Jawa, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're on a scavenger planet, and no Jawa,
Right.
you know, made it there.
You know what I always thought was the best take on Star Wars aliens that wasn't in an original trilogy film was the Gendy Tartakovsky episode where you saw Anakin roaming around, I think it was Coruscant, and you saw these masses of aliens, and you saw a lot of aliens that were very familiar, like from Mos Eisley Cantina and various other places, but then there was always these really cool, like, other types of aliens that kind of resembled them but weren't exactly copies. I always thought that was like a really great way to show an expansion of the Star Wars aliens without, you know, like making it so far off the mark. I always really liked that Gendy Tartakovsky series.
For sure.
Yeah, me too, Chad.
That was really cool. You know, in that what you were talking about, they actually had a Duloc in that group of people.
Did they?
Yeah, for like 2 seconds you see the Duloc. I wish I could pull it up, but I don't think I can screen. I don't know if I can screen.
Send the
share
link
it.
in the chat. If you find it, put it in the chat, and Sean can screen share it.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I can
There you
do
go.
that. But yeah, for a second you see a Duloc in there, which is just so cool. You know, if you like the droids and Ewoks, it's the Duloc is the green furry character that looks like Grinch, basically.
That's right.
And he makes an appearance. I love the Tartakovsky stuff. It's so cool. If I could jump in on the aliens, I'm right there with Spry. This is my biggest disappointment of the movie. They needed to take a cue from Filoni, just making aliens that weren't muddy boogers. You know, they were all just kind of California raisin-esque. And the only interesting ones I really liked were they were called the Dungui sisters, and they were those
almost bird-like looking.
No, they were more like bugs or something. Here, I'll show you a picture, real quick. You see them there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's them. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, that's a good picture.
Yeah, like bugs or something.
Yeah.
The Dungui sisters is what they're called. They were the only creative alien on the whole thing. Everybody else was muddy and just too dark, not really noticeable or standoutish or really great for making toys with either.
Right.
That's my opinion. They really needed the characters to show us that it was still Star Wars and not a divorce that, a terrible divorce that got, Neenub and Akbar and just a few other people. I just needed a couple familiar characters, and it's really one of my only gripes about the film. It's a brilliant film. I loved it. The characters were interesting. They looked, like Dayton said last time we talked about it, they looked too good. Like that big guy that was sitting in the chair, he looked really great, and he's definitely not a Trandoshan, but it would have been great if he was. Yeah. It would have been better if he was a Trandoshan. A little bit more familiarity would be appreciated in this instance, I suppose.
Yeah. Would have been great if the Trandoshans were one of the species that were chasing after Han and Chewie.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that Mike, my buddy Mike, Sith Happens, he that was one of the first thing he said to me when me and him were talking about the movie on chat, and he wanted me to mention that, and I totally agreed with him. It would have been so cool if they had some Trandos chasing after him.
Yeah, I would have liked that too.
I'm with you, Mike.
The Rhodians, yeah. The Rhodians, too. Rhodians would be good.
Yeah, true, true.
They had an opportunity. It would have been awesome.
Here you go, guys. Here's a screen share of a couple of them.
Yeah, there you go.
That big dude in the middle, I think, is the one that Peacoby1 was talking about. This guy, a great big guy with the stuff on his chin, the hook horns on his chin.
Well, he's like fake Bosk. He's not Bosk.
Yeah.
But he's got his flight suit on almost.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his hands too. If you look at his hands, they're the three-pronged claws, and
he's got his heads, but he's got like tusks growing out his chin.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I found him to be really weird because they almost tried to make Bosk, but not Bosk. Is how I felt about that guy. Right
Hey, is that a hammerhead-looking dude right there with a beard?
Well, he's
sort of
a beard and a mouth.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Ithorians don't have mouths.
Thorian, though. Yeah, they don't. That's right.
I dig that female droid. I thought that was kind of cute.
That
cool.
was cool.
Pretty cool little droid there. And when that big guy, when I first saw pictures of that, I instantly thought maybe this is the next big crime thug, like Jabba the Hutt type guy. He's going to walk in and have to negotiate with this big guy here next. That's what I was thinking when I first saw the pictures released. As far as me with aliens, I think that the aliens, too many. I think they sacrificed too many points where they could have introduced familiar aliens into the film. I think that part with Han being chased by the two factions, they could have introduced too many humanoids. They should have brought in a couple aliens in that. And that that's the scene where you guys are talking about would have really worked well with familiar bad guys that've been wanting to get at Han for a long time. That would have been really good. That alien, the one thing that sort of didn't really thrill me too much was whatever alien they were carrying as cargo. That was kind of a forgettable thing for me. They didn't that threatening beast that they used as an adversary really wasn't that big a deal to me.
Yeah, it almost seemed forced, didn't it, Dayton?
Yeah, a little bit. It was just that it was again echoing A New Hope. It was supposed to be kind of like the trash compactor monster, to me. That's what it reminded me of. But when he walked into the bar or the room, instantly you thought of the cantina when they all were in there doing their thing. Again, I was around some hardcore fans that sort of grunted just a little bit because they said, "Oh, yeah, you're another place with aliens," but you didn't recognize one. It took me the second time to see it to actually recognize what Chad was talking about and catch a couple. But I was looking at them, and the only thing that bothered me is whereas Star Wars sort of helped you become familiar with some of the species. You became familiar with the Jawas because they showed them for a little bit. You knew that the Sand people were militant. You knew that certain types of creatures, even in the short scene with the cantina, you sort of got the idea about certain creatures. In this, it sort of just flowed. You weren't introduced to any of these creatures for long enough time to be introduced. They were just there as mostly background characters, sitting around. So, hopefully the next film that comes around, they're able to, sort of elaborate on some of these species, that we saw that we are not very familiar with. At the same time, maybe they'll bring in. I think also in this is not located in the Outer Rim, right? This location. This is located more in the main series of planets and where the capital is and all that stuff, or is because I remember Finn asking those two travelers at the bar. He said, "I need to get out. I need to find my way to the Outer Rim."
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what he said? So,
right.
Yeah.
When Finn was leaving, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe there's different, like indigenous species on Earth. Maybe outward towards other parts of the galaxy, there's not any Jawas. Maybe there's not any type of these creatures. And Jakku doesn't have any Jawas. Maybe, who knows? In these types of worlds, they're not indigenous to that region or whatever. Who knows? I just as far as the makeup and the practicality of the makeup and stuff, really, really well done. I really liked it a lot. But yeah, I would have liked to see a familiar face or two. And they had a chance to go back and pick up, if they were going so hard on Ralph McQuarrie's work for concepts of ships and stuff, Ron Cobb did some incredible early Cantina characters that they could have picked up and put into that scene, and I wouldn't care if they did a little CGI work, especially on that mushroom-like leafy guy.
Started making, yeah.
The one I'm starting to work on again. It's just I wanted to see that at the table doing some stuff.
That's who Daron was inspired by, Yeah.
Yeah.
Daron, my guy here. You see my.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he was inspired by that plant. I would have loved to have seen that as well. That's one of my favorites. Those are just so recognizable. A lot of whimsy in them, and.
Mm-hmm.
All the different aliens they had, I just can't live without them. I suppose it's believable that they can be on other planets. It's a planet. It's the galaxy of 1,000 worlds, but just one familiar alien would have been just excellent.
Yeah, I want to just give my real quick 2 cents too. Definitely have to echo the same sentiments. I mean, and I got to be honest. I mean, even if these are way far away from the planets that we grew up with the original trilogy, I see Jawas as being kind of like the roaches of if there's a spaceship around, they're going to sneak in and they're going to accidentally get taken and they're going to be wherever, and you're always going to see them scavenging wherever. And I don't know, when that cantina scene, I kind of expect to see a Durash, and even with the band, I was kind of hoping we'd see the modal nodes again. You knew there was going to be that cantina scene was straight original trilogy nod. How can you not have some of them? And I was thinking maybe we'd finally put to rest the Tonika sisters. Maybe we'd see them in an older form if they. I know it's 30 years or probably even later. What's the difference between the Battle of Yavin and Return of the Jedi? But like, man, maybe we finally have a chance to see some of these more obscure characters, or maybe like what was the double-necked giraffe-looking guy in Return of the Jedi? What was that character?
Yeah.
Oh man,
what was that
can't recall.
So Jeff made just a great custom of him. That dude, and I was just like, oh man, and I was kind of hoping we'd see some of that, and just where's an Ugnaught? I don't know. I mean, I was kind of like you. I was kind of felt like I was overwhelmed with new aliens, and it was so quick. It was just like I don't know which one you said. We didn't really get to know these guys much like the other ones. like the Jawas and the Ugnaughts, and we got to know them a little bit more. And I don't know, maybe I almost felt like some of these original trilogy nods that I think we all expected and would have been irritated if we didn't see. Some of them were a little forced and a little too quick. Either do it or don't do it. Was kind of my take, and I felt that maybe some of trying to do that type of thing may have, I don't know, sacrificed the story just a bit. I liked it, but it was just kind of like, well, if you stopped worrying about doing a whole lot of that, maybe we could have did a little something else here and had a little bit more time to explore this and see if we could get Leia's acting to do a little. But I know we dealt with her last time. We don't need to dredge her up again. But I don't know. It felt like we were so busy trying to give our nods to all the different aspects of the original trilogy that we may have sacrificed a bit of the storyline, or even giving those original trilogy nods that we wanted the full effect. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I also have to keep in mind, though, with all the introduction to all these new aliens, is that, again, like Chad was saying earlier, there is a multimedia thing going on. So all of these new creatures introduced is nothing but just fodder for the new EU.
Oh, yeah.
So, even Filoni is probably thrilled that he has a bunch of new aliens from this film that he can start doing characters based on either these guys that were in here 30 years earlier, or maybe even longer, or come up with characters that are the similar species and start introducing these new species. So they all will intertwine. We'll see a lot more. We'll get familiar with them one way or another about what these creatures are. But yeah, it's a little bit too much to take in, but that's okay. That's what the DVD, that's what the Blu-ray's for. You can watch it over and over again and get used to it. So
that and zoom so I can see that Walker Dayton.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad, did you have any more comments about the aliens, bud? I know you kind of threw in a point here or there. Chad, can you hear me?
Which one, me?
Yeah. I'll call the other guy Peak Obi-Wan if I can remember to.
Alrighty. No, not really. I mean, the aliens are. I think our addiction to action figures, stemming back to all the way back to the early 80s, maybe even late 1970s, has caused us to be maybe a little bit more obsessed with background characters than we perhaps would have been.
We're not normal. We're not normal. Yes,
I'm not saying that. I think we are normal now, but back then that was not normal to be so obsessed with a little weird dude in a brown robe and flashlights for eyes,
Yeah.
And so we fixate on those things a little more than perhaps we did back then, and so they become really sort of important symbols. And so now what they're trying to do with this movie, because Star Wars is mythology, is they are trying to create new symbols, and it takes a long time for those symbols to become solidified. Mythology takes a long time for it to become legend, and it's just like with the prequels. Now those things are starting to become more and more kind of deeply ingrained into our minds when we think about Star Wars, like the Clone Army and Darth Sidious and all of those things. So when we see something new and then we compare it to things like the Tusken Raiders and even the Banthas and the what's the name, the Minoc, the Minocs, and what's the name of the monster in the trash compactor? I cannot think of it. Dianoga. We're comparing those things that have been ingrained into our minds for 30-some years to these things that we've just now seen that are new impressions. There's no comparison. Those things that are deeply ingrained into our minds are going to have more power. So it's going to take time. But not really meant for older minds. They're meant for younger minds. This is the new mythology. So I don't try to judge what I see in Star Wars now like I did when I watched Empire Strikes Back when I was a little kid, because you can't really judge it like that.
Oh no.
Awesome point, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I read a lot of. I used to. I don't anymore, but I read a lot about mythology, and if you ever watch the old Power of Myth PBS specials way back in the 80s, which I still have those, with Joseph Campbell, George Lucas and Joseph Campbell, they kind of conspired together to cook up he basically used Joseph Campbell's book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, to cook up the myths that are in the original Star Wars movie, and so, I always tend to look at it like that. If I want to get on a deep level, that is. I try not to do that too often.
Yeah, I just felt that maybe they were less fun, that there was no whimsy in them. Maybe there needed to be a little bit more Henson opposed to whatever they were doing. Was it ILM that did the characters, or was it Bad Robot? Do we know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
And
That's a good question.
Do we know if do you think they're going to use those characters again?
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Those same characters, like in the next movie, and then in the next movie, like Lucas did for the other three.
Guess we don't know that one yet.
That's what I'm gonna say. Conjecture. Yeah.
Remains to be seen. Could they start all over? Who knows? Might get a new set of aliens.
That would be great. See new aliens every time. That would be excellent.
Could be a new route.
I want to see an Ugnaught in the next movie.
Me too. Me too. And
Well,
a
aren't they
Jawa.
supposed to have like these spin-off movies that are coming out too? And like what's the movie that we talked about that was coming out like next December?
Rogue
Rogue
One.
One.
Okay, so that would be those spin-off movies would be a good way to sort of maybe sate our appetite for the things that we want to see more of. I mean, that's just an idea.
Time
but
frame's right, ain't it?
yeah. Like, who knows? And then, of course, you don't know what cartoons they're going to come out with, or like the Rebels, what that's going to spin off into next. So who knows what we'll see. Did they ever have Ugnaughts in the Clone Wars?
Yes.
I
Yes,
thought they did. I thought
Yes,
they did.
They even had the Ugnaught carbon freeze everybody. They carbon froze Anakin and Obi-Wan
right.
and
That's
Ahsoka
right.
and Captain Rex and all them. And he even has a name. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but maybe Brian will send it to me. The Ugnaught name. But he definitely had a name, and he was in there, and he looked really cool.
Very good. All right, what's after aliens, Chad?
Okay, well, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
We got to
Where's
talk
Boba?
about Boba Fett.
Where's Boba, man?
Who's that? Who's Boba Fett?
Yeah. So.
Well, nobody wants to talk about Boba Fett, man.
Were we hoping he was going to come back, or?
Well, I think they officially said that he did survive the Sarlacc pit.
Yep.
Is that official?
They did. Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so. Yes.
Then that tells me we're going to see him, because why else would they officially say that?
Yeah.
Where and when, I don't know, but
Although Boba's going to be disappointed Han's not around anymore, to get his bounty. So I don't know what Boba would be doing 30 years later. Would he be heading up a criminal ring, maybe, or would he be still a bounty hunter, seeing that he's the son of a clone, or he's not a son of a clone, but he's a clone himself? Isn't he a clone? If I
You got-
remember right.
Is the
Unaltered clone, yes.
he
An
is
altered clone.
Right, he's an unaltered clone, which means he
Yeah.
doesn't have the super aging process that
Yeah.
the regular clones do. So basically, he's like an exact copy of Jango Fett. So technically, he could still be alive. And I don't know. I see him as like a head of a gang. You know, like he kind of like took over for Jabba the Hutt or something.
Yeah, maybe like a major crime syndicate leader. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, he's the new Godfather in Star Wars.
Yeah, Kylo calls him up, say, "Hey, I want you to take care of something for me."
God Boba.
Boba's smoking a cigar.
Boba Papa.
Movies coming out in 2020, right?
Papa Boba.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's goofy.
Oh, man.
What was that, Spry?
Disney said they're going to release a Boba Fett movie in 2020.
Wow.
We
Sweet.
don't have to wait that long.
Got to wait a while.
Is it going to be the old version of him or the young version?
They haven't said anything other than that they are going to be working towards a standalone Boba Fett film.
I heard it was going to be on Netflix. Did you hear that?
There's a lot of stuff coming to Netflix for Star Wars from what I've read.
They should do a true crime series on Boba Fett,
That'd be nice.
making of a bounty hunter. Come on, making a bounty hunter.
Chad has a theme.
Uh,
Sorry, I have to make jokes sometimes.
God, good.
Tell you what I think about Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett, but I kind of hate that all the mystery has been taken away from him.
yeah.
And, if you guys listen to Rebel Force Radio, I'm with Paul Bateman, who hopes that if we have a Boba Fett movie, and now we know we are, that someone kills Boba Fett, takes his armor, and assumes the Boba Fett role, and it would add mystery to the character, and we'd get like a whole revamp of the story.
That would be cool. I would like that.
That would be
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
You know what would be even better is if Boba Fett died in the Sarlacc, but somebody took his outfit and assumed the role. That way, they think he survived the Sarlacc.
Oh,
wow!
So-
I can imagine that. Somebody goes deep sixing into a Sarlacc's carcass.
Yep.
Finds
And they're like, "You're Boba Fett, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yep,
Yeah.
I am
Sure.
Boba Fett.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yes, I am Boba Fett."
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's Could go for that.
Yeah. I like Boba Fett. I think he's okay. I'm more on the side of I like Paul's theory. I've heard it several times. I like the Boba Fett that we have right now, the unaltered clone one, just because I really enjoyed him in the Clone Wars. I guess I thought that was a good thing, but I don't know where his role could be. I would like to see him if he was in the Force Awakens and beyond the Force Awakens. I would like to see him in maybe a good role, opposed to a bad role. Maybe he helps the good guys opposed to the bad guys this time around. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. I mean, I keep
Well,
remembering.
how could that happen? I mean, how
Well,
could he? I mean,
Whoever pays him the most.
Yeah, well,
Right.
well, but okay.
The good guy can pay him the most. He'll help you.
This will test your knowledge of the EU. Do you guys remember the Vong series of books where Boba Fett actually helped out Han and the gang? You guys remember that part?
Did he provide the robot,
before
the Vong Terminator or whatever?
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
also provided a bit of a diversion so they could get away. I mean, I don't remember the exact. I'm trying to remember. I want to say it may have been the Timothy Zahn novel that he wrote in that particular series before EU turned to whatever it is now, legendary fodder, Bantha Poodoo or whatever. But yeah, old Boba actually. And they were kind of like, at the end of it, Han was kind of commenting, who was that helped us out there. I mean, it was kind of just a scathing thing, and then I think it was Leia said, I think that was Boba Fett. And you never really heard anything more about it in that story after that. But I said, oh man, wouldn't that be cool where Boba Fett comes out and is a bit of a good guy? So
That would be cool.
yeah, I just kind of like that whole what they did with this character in that particular book, and I was kind of hoping we'd see him do a little bit of that. I don't know, maybe be in charge of another bounty hunter team. That I was almost hoping that when Luke needed to be found, who would they send after him? Boba Fett and the gang. You know, they sent him after Han and trying to find Luke, right? Send him a new batch of, maybe get Iggy and an aged Bosk and a couple other proteges, like get some of the old gang. And I don't know, you know me, I'm an Empire Strikes Back junkie. I loved all those guys. I'd love to see them again.
At least one of them, right?
Yeah.
Somebody.
Well, they were showing us a little bit of, you know, all the OT nods we got. I was kind of hoping that one might have been one of them too, you know, some of the... Anyway, maybe it'll still happen. We've got the next movie coming out, right?
Yeah.
All right, Chad, have we beat Boba to death?
I think so. Alright, so Force Ghosts. What about Force Ghosts? Are we going to see any? Who could they be? That sort of thing. And I'll just start with my own opinion about Force Ghosts. I think if they do show it, it will be extremely minimal, if at all. But I highly doubt they're going to show any Force Ghosts. I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
That's my own opinion.
I personally don't think so either. I think that it would. I think there was a point where that would have some sort of meaning, but now it makes it more dramatic if Luke is left to his own ideas on how to solve these issues and going by the teachings. I'm sure that during his early training, he was still visited through this, Force spirits and stuff. But I think after a while, he was left onto his own, abilities, and now he has to make those choices. I'd hate for him to have to go and get the spirit of Qui-Gon to come up and say, "You need to use the Force this way." I don't want to. I don't want to see that. I wouldn't want to see even Ben or, although they do, don't they? Haven't they said something about Ewan McGregor?
Yeah.
Wanting to be in the next film.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be in the next film. That's what I saw.
So that means that there may be a Force ghost of some sort to be present.
Flashback capacity.
It could be flashback, or it could be Force ghost. Although it wouldn't make any sense to have Ewan play a Force ghost unless they do him in Alec Guinness makeup or some sort of digital mapping, which they could do. And if they did that, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys see, it's been a couple years now, see if I linked the article, where they said they had the technology through that digital imaging to actually still use those older characters like Alec Guinness, even the ones that were deceased, to still have them in a movie capacity. I think they were wondering about the legality and if, like, Alec Guinness's heirs. I think they were worried about, do the heirs receive royalties? I would assume they would. I think they were trying to figure all that out, and I really didn't hear anything about it after that. But
well, they totally have the technology. That's not even a question. I mean, they don't even need someone who looks like the person to do the digital mapping. They can just have a person stand in and map their face and then superimpose a face on top of that. And just teach them to act like the character, which Ewan pretty much already kind of has that down just from acting like Obi-Wan in the prequel movies. So, but I think it comes down more to what you said, Sean, about getting the rights to use the likeness of that actor.
Right.
And if they get that, they're gold as far as using Obi-Wan as a Force ghost.
And plus, I don't think they're going to be doing any action. They're just going to be standing there, either
Right.
talking to Luke and stuff. So basically, just a non-action character. Yeah, they can probably get away with it. Yeah.
Right.
I heard rumors that they were actually going to bring in Hayden
Oh,
Christensen.
man, I'm
As
going
a
to
Force
mute
Ghost.
your mic. You're going to talk about Hayden.
No, I hope not.
Oh,
And in that,
Lord.
that art,
I read that
the
too.
art of Force Awakens, there is a picture in there. It's amazing though,
Yeah.
where he's in the shadows, and because he was who he was, he would change from Darth Vader to Anakin back and forth, like he would be hooded or shrouded of some kind, and his face would change from just regular Hayden to this Darth Vader visage or something, That's what I heard about it. The different stories that I'm hearing is that he may be coming back. Who knows with what? I actually also heard on Huffington Post today an article that would be a big gaping hole if they didn't talk about Obi-Wan saying that if you strike me down, I will become more powerful, and maybe they don't know what they're talking about, but as much as maybe somebody, people like us would, but there's room for it. There's room for ghosts, don't you think? Or
Now
no?
that I'm thinking about it, golly, I can imagine Rey going through training, going through a similar scenario of the cave, meeting a young Anakin, meeting a young Kenobi, finding out what the faults and what led Anakin to become a Sith. Young Yoda, maybe, or maybe even an older Yoda, and then an older
Visions
Obi-Wan.
are
I
much
can
more
see that.
likely. Visions are much more likely to see.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Okay, yeah, that's a possibility.
Just a thought, or maybe even here's a stunning one. Maybe Luke becomes the ghost.
Oh boy.
What about that? What about that?
Well, he has to die first.
Oh, yeah.
He is the Obi-Wan character, or is he the Yoda character?
We don't know yet,
no.
quite yet. Not
Yeah.
enough information.
She's gonna get him to get off that island. I think.
I'm thinking he's going to have to.
Or he's going to train her on that island and send her off.
Possibly.
We don't know.
Mayor's going to show up and kick Luke in the butt and ask him what the heck he's doing and saying, "Hey, Ray, how you doing, Dada?" And we're going to go on happily ever after. Right, Spry?
That's right.
All right, man. All right.
All right. Well, you say, where is Wedge?
Yeah, we got Poe, but I want a Wedge, man.
Didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
Didn't want to do it. He said it was no good to him anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, Harrison, we already had you. You're dead. We got a Wedge. We got to kill him off, too. All right.
Apparently, Dennis Lawson was worse.
Gotcha, Wedge.
He was worse, though. He said, he went on record saying it's not worth my time or something. It was something terrible.
Yeah, it was an insult.
What they need to do is call him up and fax some dollar signs and say, "Is it worth this?"
Yeah, but did he mean it like that?
What
or,
has he done? I mean, has he done anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
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 Well, did he mean it like that, or did he mean it like, I don't want to mess with the original trilogy? It could be that.
No, it was pretty much insult.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll just move on then.
All right, Wedge.
No Wedge.
All right.
Wedge is
Okay.
gone.
Other generals. Let's see. Who do we got? We've got Riekin on Hoth. We've got what's the guy in Return of the Jedi? General. What's the guy in Return of the Jedi? The guy with the beard, who is really awesome. That leads the meeting with Mon Mothma.
General Madine.
Madine.
There we go. General Madine. And then, do we have any other generals?
Who's the female in Return of the Jedi that was with General Madine during the meeting? Mon Mothma. I'm thinking we'll see much older Mon Mothma I think that she'll still be there, but I'm
That would
thinking
be
guys
sweet.
like guys like Riken and those have probably passed on and they've done their duty, or they might have died during. I'd like to see that they have died during battle or something like that, in their later times of command or whatever. But I don't think they'll bring them back. But it would be really cool to see a very old and wise Mon Mothma. That'd be really cool. Because she's been through the, even in the prequels, they've had her character. So to bring her into the final trilogy would really, really be cool.
Yeah, that would be
in
cool.
Republic.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
That they didn't get her in the divorce. No, sorry.
Okay.
I just have this feeling, all joking aside, I have this feeling that we're not going to see hardly anything Star Wars related. No Tatooine, no Banthas, no nothing. They're not going to talk about anything.
Yeah, no.
I have this feeling. You don't agree with that?
Well, look at it this way. It's a big universe, number one. Number two, in the prequels, they already harken back to Tatooine, and they can't really do a whole lot of that anymore because they made Jakku, and Hoth is just an ice planet. Coruscant is probably cinder by now, so there's not really a whole lot left from the original trilogy to, or even the prequels so much for them to kind of call back to, so they have to make up new stuff.
Will we see any new planets that we know of? Corellia, Ord Mantell.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Mandalore,
yeah. Harken back to some of the Clone Wars planets. That would.
And I'll tell you what, if they do Mandalore, they're gonna open up a can of worms.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a lot of people really happy, and they're gonna make a lot of people really pissed off.
Well, depends on if they're making pacifists or not, right, Chad?
Exactly right. Look at what happened the last time they did Mandalore.
Yeah.
But even then, even if they don't make them pacifists, even if they make them warlike, well, who knows? Maybe they'll call them racists or something.
Yeah.
Or they'll call them backwards rednecks, or who knows? I mean, everything is filtered through our own version of reality. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool to see a warlike planet, Mandalore, and show up and have these two massive armies, and one of them be Mandalorians. Just think of all the different versions of Mandalorians, kind of like one of the prequels. One of the few things I liked was Attack of the Clones, when the Jedi all storming, all those different Jedi with lightsabers extended going after the battle droids. Think about Mandalorians doing that against, I don't know, the First Order, or, I don't know, maybe even the good guys, I don't know, something. Man, wouldn't that be cool, seeing all the different Beskar Gam and different colors and variations and jetpacks and fire sprays and bombs and mayhem. Wouldn't that would be fantastic.
Of course it would.
The Mandos team up with the Resistance to fight the First Order. There you go.
Led by Boba Fett, yeah.
Led by Boba Fett, or the guy in Boba Fett's armor.
There you go. Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Hey, Chad, have we got you in trouble yet?
Me?
Yeah.
In trouble for what?
Are we still allowed to podcast?
Yes, we can.
The president gives us sanctions. I think it's okay.
All right, okay.
At least for another half an hour. And
right,
then I might be in trouble.
Okay, let's roll, man. Where are we going next?
I don't know. Where are we? Okay, well, the next thing that you got is about George Lucas, and this is...
Did we want to talk about that?
Well, it kind of turned, didn't it? I mean, didn't it kind of turn from him complaining about it to...
Well...
To now... I saw an article on Facebook, and I wish I would have had the forethought to copy the link in here, but it was an article about looking at George Lucas's original trilogy in hindsight, and how basically the main idea of the article was that everything now is basically recycling, and the original trilogy is a pastiche of different things. It's like Buck Rogers and Akira Kurosawa and a few other things, and how that's more original than just retelling a story over and over. And so I found that article to be pretty interesting, and kind of made him seem more creative. But I mean, what he said about Disney and everything, I can't say I disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, but it definitely
the only thing he apologized for was some of the terminology he used, right? I mean,
I didn't even see him apologize, but I mean,
Well, I think he apologized for the term "white slavers" that he had in that one interview. I think.
Yeah, I think he meant to say that, because
I do too.
I think at the point that we are in society right now, I think that people are more and more becoming aware of the power of words, because if you misuse them, you're accountable, almost like if you use a weapon. And I think he was lashing out when he said that. Now, was he being completely rational? No, because he was
that
using
was his baby, yeah.
Well, he was emotional. He's emotional about it, and so I see that. But I don't know that he's totally wrong about how. This is what when Disney bought Star Wars, this was what I was worried about from the beginning, that they would just take it and twist it. And I mean, if you look on Facebook now, and you look in the feed, if you're a Star Wars fan at all, you get all this Disney crap about how you're supposed to come to Hollywood studios, and you're supposed to bring your kids so that they can dress up like a Jedi and fight Darth Vader, and then they can go meet Chewbacca, and then they can go to the gift shop and they can buy a Jedi robe and a lightsaber and some figures, and it's just marketing, man. And it's just like, in a way, what he's saying is kind of right, and that's not what Star Wars is about. I mean, yeah, do we want to go buy some toys and some T-shirts and stuff? Of course, yeah, but I mean, it's everywhere now, and it's like being like, Star Wars is being rammed down my throat, and I'm like, dude, I like it already. Okay, it's cool. I love Star Wars. I don't have to go into the produce aisle and freaking pick up my oranges with the Star Wars label, or my fruit snacks, or my diapers, or my baby wipes, or.
I saw a bag of apples with Darth Vader on it the other day.
Exactly, I mean, here's where it should stop. You go to the supermarket or whatever department store, and you go to the party aisle where you get your birthday supplies, and they have Star Wars stuff there. That's okay, but it shouldn't be in. I mean, Star Wars fruit snacks is one thing, but in the produce aisle and on your soups and on your cereal boxes. My son literally got a box of stuff for Christmas, and he had Star Wars cereal, he had Star Wars fruit snacks, he had Star Wars macaroni and frickin' cheese, and he had Star Wars socks, and he had Star Wars, like, 3 other things, and it was just this box that his aunt and uncle had put together of, like, everything they could find that was Star Wars, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So, I mean, in a way, his point was kind of valid. So, like, everybody kind of hated on him and said, oh, you're mad. He shouldn't really be mad, because he did kind of sell it. So right. he should sort of, like, understand what he did. Yeah. But, saying that he sold it to white slavers, it's a harsh way of putting it, and it's not appropriate. There's another way to say it, but it's what's the name of the British the tea, what is it in the pirates fought them in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh.
Oh God, what is it? The evil British guys in Pirates of the Caribbean, but it was a real thing in real life.
Can't think of it.
Not. Yeah,
Doggone
not
it! Now I'm
forever.
gonna have to watch Pirates of the Caribbean tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, basically they were taking over the world. That's what Disney's doing. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. It has been an onslaught, and it is. If I was a Star Wars fan already, I think that what they're trying to do is take 1977 through 1990 something. When they had the re-release of the special edition, they're trying all that hype, and they're trying to compact it into this one film of hype and media.
Yes.
And it's just like killing it. It's killing me. And I mean, I don't complain about it because my little nephew's loving Star Wars, and that's great. But and I think that's what they're trying to do. But boy, man, they're just like it's just, when you see a truck commercial, and it's just a truck, and you're playing Star Wars music behind it, and it says "Go see Star Wars" at the end. I'm going, wow,
Yeah.
this is a
Ridiculous.
media monster, man. Disney is a monster. They've taken this and ran with it, and it is what it is, and you can't do anything about it now. You're just going to have to let the dust settle and see how well. They're not going to let it die. They've invested too much money, so even if this movie was a bomb, they would have hyped it and kept running with it and shoved it down your throat, so.
Well, it wasn't successful because of their marketing. I don't think it was successful because of the integrity of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's so big. One of the things I really like George, so I honestly feel like they should give him a little bit more reverence because he gave them gold. Don't you think? He gave them water in a desert.
Yeah.
So I appreciate them putting that in the credits. They put his name in the credits, basically, and that's great. But I think on his side too, he's hurting a little bit. He wants to be credited for everything, but he's not getting credited.
Yeah. So. It's just I like George Lucas in terms of what he has given us when it comes to Star Wars, the writing of the film, his first film directing of the film. I think that not only was his directing part of it, but he did have a lot of talent in the background helping him through that film, which he really had a hard time getting out, and it was just such a great story, and it was released at such a perfect time that it just exploded, which is great. And then he picked two good directors for the next two films when he produced them, so those were good decisions. Skywalker sound, all these things that he has given to the film industry, I credit him for all that. But then he directed the prequels, and well, at that point,
he burnt a lot of bridges, through his career. He's a maverick. He's a maverick through his whole career. He did everything himself. He funded everything himself, and he did make a lot of enemies. But that doesn't mean you have to hate him for it.
No. Yeah. So more power to him if he wants. If he wants to. He has a reason to have a voice. He did create it, but at the same time, he did sell it. And when he was signing that paper, and Disney was standing across from him smiling, they said, "You do know what this means, right?
Exactly.
This is mine now. This is ours now." He said, "I know
it all."
Yeah, we're going to take it and go with it wherever we want to go with it. So he's going to, I think, just a little bit. He just got angry. I think he's just pissed off that it is what it is. But can I be a little pissed for a little bit, about it? But he's got to get over that because he did sign it away. So.
Does anybody like me want to see where George was going to go with it himself? to see what his 3 movies were going to look like. Does anybody else want to know that?
Oh, we already know what it was going to be. Darth Jar Jar. And Jar Jar was going to come. He said in the beginning, Jar Jar is the key to all this.
Yeah. Oh, God.
That and the Ewoks. Okay.
I would have liked to have seen it, but I have a feeling it would have been more about younger kids. Maybe Rey would have been 5 years younger than what she is now, and maybe it would have been more of the EU, more of the twins. The twins. Maybe it would have been the twins instead of what we're getting.
Like Jason and Jaina?
Yeah, Jason and Jaina, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they changed it enough and made it a little bit more adult. It was funny that this was PG-13. It was a very adult film. Wouldn't you say? Less kiddie than George would have done it.
Oh, when it really hit me when I'm sitting there watching Kylo trying to keep his leg from going numb because he's been cut, he's been blasted so bad, he's bleeding out. He's banging on him to try to keep himself, walking right.
Man, I love
this. This was hardcore. I love it.
Yep.
This is that guy's pissed off. I like this. He really got slashed up or blown out. So I kind of dug that. So I'm hoping they stick with that idea. Making it a little bit more adult, when it comes to those types of things. But if George was directing it, he wouldn't have gotten that. He would have gotten like he was glanced with the blaster or something like that. A little singe on the side of his pants or something maybe. But you wouldn't have gotten that type of look and that type of intensity from Lucas if he was directing it. I don't think.
Hey guys, I found that article. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I'm going to link it. I linked it in our chat on Facebook, and I'm going to put it on the Facebook page, so something to look at. We're getting kind of long in time here.
Okay.
So if you just want to read that in your own time, I'll put it as a topic on the non-spoiler page and see what everybody thinks.
I can put it in the show notes too, Chad.
Alrighty.
All right, should we give our final reviews, Bud, and get on out of here?
I think so. All right. Well, as far as I go, I mean, it's a great movie. I'm happy with it. As I said, last time, I try not to overanalyze it, and I think other people shouldn't either. I think if you're overanalyzing it, you're kind of missing the point, and you should just try to go and enjoy it. And I think the people that overanalyze it a lot are too often Star Wars fans who want this, that, and the other, and there's only so much that they can fit into a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my thought, short and sweet. Who's next?
I'm with Chad. I went in and had fun with the film. I enjoyed it. There's things I would have liked to have seen, possibly a few more aliens from original trilogy, things like that. But fun film, overall fun film. And should we get together again, I want to talk more about Kylo Ren.
All right. Darth Jar Jar, all right.
Yeah, either way. Kylo Ren or Darth Jar Jar. Or both, hopefully.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I just saw it again for the 5th time now.
Awesome.
Wow.
It was great. Emotionally, for me, it was a really emotional movie. I really loved the pace of it. I thought it was fast, action-packed. There's a lot of questions still, which is good. And I'm with Chad as well. I just want to go and enjoy it and not really worry about if Snoke is Plagueis or if Luke Skywalker is Kylo Ren. I want to see just a fun movie. I want to have fun with it. I want to be a Star Wars fan well into the future and just try not to get my expectations up so that I just have fun in my, as an older fan of the films. So it was great. There's a lot of things I want to see, but I'm just going to wait to see what happens. There it is.
Well, I've seen it twice, and it took me the first time I liked it, the second time I loved it. There's two sides of me. There's the practical side that goes to see it just to see a good film, and that's what I really enjoyed. Then there's the artistic side of me that goes through and doesn't analyze the film in terms of cause and effect and things like that, but in terms of the art in the film and what could be done better than this or that or what they've introduced. And that's where my critical side comes into play. But I overall is very satisfied with that part as well. And we're just now riding this new wave. It's just started. So we've got like 2 more major films, then all these crossover films and Netflix and cartoons and comics and books and stuff. So if you're going to be ultra critical now, you're not going to make it by the time it's over with. So you better just love it and take your kids to it. You don't have to worry about things that's going to be it's not going to be delving into any really hardcore ideas and stuff like that. It's just fun. It's a good space movie too. So I'm happy it's back. I thought it was great.
And I definitely want to echo everyone's sentiments. I know for episode 80, I don't know, I just seemed overly critical. You guys made me think about the movie and some different points. And I think Chad started us off with the biggest point. I mean, why can't you just appreciate it? I mean, compare it as a standalone. I mean, forget about all the other Star Wars movies that you've seen, and it's just a new movie. Compare it to the other regular movies you've seen, and I think it stands so well on its own. And just to echo Dayton's point he just made about taking your kids to see it, I get to see my daughter bouncing around the house acting like who.
Leia?
Princess Leia? Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Dayton. Way to ruin the moment. Okay, appreciate that, bud. But you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just like we got some posters in the mail today, and the first thing was, is one of them Rey? And one of them was, and she was just so excited. And it's just so great to see Star Wars through her eyes. And me as kind of the old fogey, and sometimes being too critical, saying, well, they didn't do this and they didn't do that and they didn't have this, and it's refreshing from a point where now Star Wars is coming alive again in me, because talk about a true family experience. Me, I'm not a very deep fellow to get into all that philosophical stuff, but daggone is it great to just see from a female standpoint that here we have a heroine who is the movie, and the plot and the action and everything centers around what she's doing, and we can only assume that that is definitely what is going to happen. This is going to be a story of her, and kind of like Luke from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi. Now we have Rey, and to see what she is going to do, and the trials and the tribulations that she's going to have, and it's just great to see that from a standpoint. And the kind of I don't want to dredge up the Hasbro stuff that and I feel your guys' same pain in regards to the amount of offerings, but for an action figure person, just the amount of good female characters and sculpts and action figures in general, I think talk about Rey being a godsend. I think it's going to revitalize a lot of that too, and give us things and new female characters, and they're going to see that these female characters are going to sell just as well as the male ones, and I think from just a societal standpoint, I think the gender imbalance just got a little bit more equal, and I'm really proud that my beloved movie franchise is making a step in that direction. So I'm proud of it. I not only loved it, you know, I enjoyed it from just a pure entertainment standpoint, but I'm proud of the message it sent. So there, I liked it. Yay, Force Awakens.
All right.
How was that, Chad?
Ah, very nice, very nice. All right. So that's it, right?
That's all she wrote, folks.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's let everybody give out their contact info. Dayton, since your head's the biggest on my screen right now, you're first.
Sithfire 30. Just type that into Google. You'll find me.
All right. And Chad Peak Obi-Wan, how are you? How can we get in touch with you?
Mostly you can find me on Peak Obi-Wan Custom Creations. That is a Facebook page. Or you can find me in any of the collecting forums here at Imperial Shipyards or Yak Face, all the different places. You can find my custom work where I'm trying to revitalize the Clone Wars, even though they're not coming back, I know. But that's where I'm at most of the time.
What?
Making customs.
All right, Ellie, how can we get in touch with you, buddy?
Luke Sprywalker. You can Google that. You can find me on Facebook, The Art of Luke Sprywalker, or personal page is L.E. Spry.
All right, and Sean, you better hurry up because he's going to start grabbing stuff here.
All right, cool deal. Tamer Imperial Shipyard starting at. You can find me there. How about you, Chad?
Yeah, I'm like Dayton. You can just type Lucasclones Customs into Google and you'll find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Google and and YouTube, all that good stuff. So, what about you, Dano? Where can people find you?
Okay.
Right.
How you spell that?
I don't know. Lots of A's, I think. Lots of A's. Maybe a few H's at the end, right?
That's awesome.
He's like, who are you talking to?
I was like, what?
He's like, I know you're not talking to me because you make weirder noises when you talk to me. And I got a big TV right here with plugged into my computer, so everybody's face gets about life size whenever y'all pop up. So he's looking up there too. All right, is it time to go, Dano? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, definitely, it was awesome talking with you, and if we get a chance to do it again, we'll let y'all know.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
Well, from Lucasclones
And Tamer.
We'll see you again. And Dano. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.